this part. Trying to set up so my camera's not as hitting that bright window. Never mind, you're gonna have that bright window. I can't get rid of it. It's a sunny day here in Vancouver. That's no better. It's a sunny day here in Vancouver, and I have to close my blinds because it's too bright. Even with the blinds closed, it's too bright. So anyway, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just waiting for people to turn up, and then we'll get going. Okay. So I'm just waiting for people to turn up. I'm waiting for Facebook. Then I go over to Instagram, then I go over to TikTok, but I'm on YouTube the whole time. Okay, so hello. Welcome to my Sunday live. It might be different. Is my hair crooked? Such a mess. I was just sewing and nothing was turning out right. Total disaster. And yeah, my hair's a sign of the disaster I just went through with the sewing project. Anyway, I've been sewing forever, but it doesn't mean it's always going to work. Okay, so let's get going with your parenting questions. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, and I'm just here answering questions. I'm here pretty much every day. And anyway, if you go on the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. If I'm not answering your emails, it's just because I can't take on any new clients. When I can, I'll start looking at the emails again, the coaching ones, when people put coaching in there. Anyway, okay, that's about it. I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. Okay. So, do you have any parent questions? I'll just sit here and wait. I'm on YouTube at the same time, and the light coming through this blind here, it's just awful on YouTube. I can't get rid of it. So anyway, it's a beautiful sunny day, but I need the blinds closed because otherwise I get the night sun. It's the worst one to get. You want to get the morning sun because it warms up the whole apartment, and then by night it cools down. Whereas mine's the opposite. It's cold in the morning, and then you can't sleep at night because it gets too hot. So I'm just wasting time waiting for your comments or your questions. By the way, who's new here? Mostly regulars, I would assume. Is anyone new? This is your first time in a live. I'm here every day, but I sometimes, I get new people turning up all the time. Okay. Amber Nelson. I like that name, Amber. There's a perfume called Amber, but every time I look up Amber on Amazon, it just comes up with amber colored bottles. So I'd love to get an Amber perfume. 1-year-old pulls hair, bangs head, and bites when he doesn't get what he wants. What to do? Yeah, just hold him, physically restrain him from hurting himself. They're going to do that. Don't try to make sense out of that. They don't make any sense. You just have to physically restrain them when they get insane and violent. So that's all you can do. Nothing else you can do. You're new. Oh, welcome, Amber. That's why I noticed your name, because I think I would have noticed that before. I'm not fun-loving and easygoing. I want to make my kids feel good about themselves, but I take life seriously. Any tips for changing my behavior? You know what's interesting is if you let your kids lead for a while, you might learn something. I say if you're not learning and changing through parenting, you're missing the boat, because they're going to teach you a whole bunch about life, how to be in the moment, how to play, how to be frivolous, how to just have fun. So maybe enter their world, watch them play and join in and see if that changes you. That's all the advice I can answer. If you wanted to hire me, we could get into it, but I'm not a therapist. Anyway, first time catching you live. Excellent. Welcome, Angela. Let me see now. Okay. It's from Sierra. Toddler is struggling to sleep in big bed, falls asleep fine, but we end up in a room in the middle of the night. Okay, check out my Bedtime Battles course. That's in my link above. All my courses and everything is in the link above. And it's called Bedtime Battles. It's from the ages of 2 to 8 years old. And it goes into how to get them in bed. That's the easy part. Part 2 is how to keep them there. That's the hard part. It can be one night of sheer hell, but it's worth it. I always say everyone wants the rainbow, but you got to be willing to go through the storm to get there. You ever seen a rainbow without a storm first? You know, you got to go through the storm. And a lot of parents don't want that. Whereas I welcome it because I know behind every scene, fit, tantrum, storm is a lesson. So yeah, that you got to be willing to go through that. It's going to be a rough night. It's going to be a night from hell. Yes, but it's worth it. I got a client who just went through it in coaching, and yeah, I think they were probably cursing me out initially, but then it ended up working. So they said it was well worth it. Okay, by the way, you might want to sign up to the newsletter, get the behavior board. That's the newsletter. I've got a big announcement coming out tomorrow. So just things, if you're interested, just putting that out there. Okay. A lot of work's been going on behind the scenes. A whole bunch of stuff's coming up. So anyway, but yeah, check out the behavior board. That's completely free. That puts you on the newsletter. Does it ever not work? Everything doesn't always not work ever. Not everything always works. There you go. But you got a pretty good chance of that working. Put it that way. You know, a lot of it depends on your parenting too. If you're not bonded with your kids at all and they feel scared and they don't feel loved and all that, nothing's going to work. You got to meet their needs and manage their wants. Most people, you know, I talk a lot about meeting their needs, but mostly in these lives, it's about managing their wants, which is the discipline. That's not what I'm all about. I'm about meeting their needs first. Their needs are love, fun, food, shelter, and all that stuff too. But you got to learn how to connect with your kids. When you're connected with them, most of everything I teach, has a really good chance of working, but nothing's 100%. It's like saying, does this diet work? Can you give me a guarantee? You got to put in the work. But if you're doing something on the side that's going to sabotage it, like, you know what I mean? Like all sorts of stuff can go wrong. I've allowed poor diets, but want to change that. What steps can I take to help my kids enjoy better foods? Get rid of all the junk food, like pulling off a Band-Aid. Do it all in one day and just say no more junk food. Maybe once a week we'll go out and get a treat. Say it like that. We had no junk food in the house, none. Like my kids knew if they didn't eat their healthy dinner, there was no ice cream in our freezer. I mean, I just had healthy food in the house and I made everything from scratch. So they didn't know any different. So you got to get rid of it. It's like saying, how do I teach them not to watch screens, but you got the screen on? You know what I'm saying? Like you set them up for success, not failure. If you got junk food in the house and they know it, and they're going to know it unless you show them you're throwing it all out. Yeah. But, you know, I'm not a nutritionist. That's the way I would do it. So it's just more of a personal opinion kind of thing. When my husband and I tell our 3-year-old little girl no, she runs into a different room to cry and be alone. I'd be quite thrilled with that. So you don't have to listen to her cry. What's wrong with that? She's hoping you'll chase her down and give her what she wants. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's my gut reaction. Yeah, oh, she's going in the other room and crying. Oh, yippee. We don't have to put up with that. So yeah, what's the problem with that? You know, never be afraid of them processing hearing the word no. It's okay that they don't like it. That's okay. Everyone's so afraid. How do I make them accept the word no? You don't. They have to learn to accept it. There's nothing you can do. But if they go in the other room and start crying and you go running in after them, then chances are you're a pleaser parent, and that that's I don't teach that at all, because the kids are in charge. They're going to wipe their feet all over you, treat you like a dish rag, and then you're going to end up raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. Most kids, or a lot of kids who are raised in the pleaser parenting style, end up victims, snowflakes, weak, always crying, woe is me, entitled. You don't want that. New here. Do you think there's anything wrong with co-sleeping with your child? It doesn't. No, I don't care. It's one of those things. That's a personal choice. Co-sleeping, Montessori, homeschooling, breastfeeding till they're 8. That's your personal choice. I wouldn't do any of those just because it's not my personal choice. But yeah, it's a personal choice. There is no right and wrong with that. If it's working for you, then keep doing it. What are appropriate consequences for a 7-year-old who screams, "I hate you" at her parents and escapes from the house or area when she's angry? Consequence 7 who screams, "I hate you." Well, there is no consequence for bad attitude. Let her express that. That's okay. Just don't make it work. In other words, don't give it any attention. If I said no to a kid and they were mad and they were coming at me, "I hate you," I would go like, at 7 years old, I would go like this, "Whatever." And then I just go on and do what I'm doing. In other words, who cares? Like, that's on her. She's 7. You know what that says to me? It says to me that they had to have worked in the past. They only do what works. If acting like a lunatic like that works, or if she's doing that at 7, it means you must have given into that. Must bother you. And she knows it. So it's manipulation. Can you give a lot of people want lots of ideas of positive consequences, but really that's not I don't really tend to do that because it doesn't matter what you do. A positive consequence, there's always two, positive action consequence, and then if they won't do that, then you do the negative deprivation consequence, okay? Don't It's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be brushing your hair for 5 minutes. It could be anything positive, a good deed. It's usually just a chore. So don't worry about it. That's not what matters here. It's not what it is. It's the fact that it's symbolic that there is something they have to do. You did something bad. Now you have to replace it with a good deed or do a chore, do something good. Or if you hit me, maybe you have to brush my hair for 5 minutes. That's not the point. It doesn't matter what it is, really. Well, within reason. Like you don't ask a 3-year-old to detail your car just because they maybe broke something. Okay. Whoops, I'm going to skip ahead here. By the way, make sure you sign up for that behavior board that puts you on the newsletter. There's a big announcement coming tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of stuff's going on behind the scenes here at Bratbusters. So you might want to check that out. Okay. 6-year-old tells me no when I ask her to do something like go brush your teeth. Does this go on the behavior board? I would say follow bedtime routine, and that would be part of the bedtime routine. If she doesn't follow it, then there's a consequence the next day. Okay. So yeah, I would put follow bedtime routine. But then that might just not be a bedtime, right? So yeah, just put down brush your teeth within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. You have to put a time limit on it. Otherwise it doesn't count. Go brush your teeth and then, yeah, I will. I said now. Yeah, it's useless. A leader times things. So you say, I want you to brush your teeth within 10 minutes starting now. Okay. And then you put that on the behavior board though. Brush your teeth within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. If not, there's a consequence. Piece of cake. It's that easy. The thing is, kids get this and they will fight you back because they're used to being in charge. Usually when people are looking for answers, it's because your kids are in charge. It's because you're not a leader. So they remember the old you. So they're going to fight. They're usually going to get worse before they get better. When you start exercising your leadership skills, they usually will fight back because they're used to the old you. So yeah, lots of fun. It's worth it. Okay, oops. 3-year-old reverts to baby-like behavior and becomes aggressive with young. Okay, put down no hurting other people. So just put that on the behavior board. She's 3 years old. The behavior board starts at the age of 3. It's completely free. It's in the link above. Or you can check out the boot camp course. That starts at the age of 3 also. And anyway, just put down no hurting other people or no getting rough with however you want to word it. And then explain what you mean by that. And then what she does is a consequence. Keep it simple. This is just simple. There's no mystery to any of this. Here's a rule. If you break it, there's a consequence, right? If you don't pay your taxes, you might get fined. If you don't pay your rent, you might get kicked out. If you speed down the freeway, you might get a ticket. If you hit your little cousin, you might lose TV for the night. It's just simple. Keep it simple. It's really just an accountability chart. The behavior board is just an accountability chart, teaching everyone to be accountable. That's why you're on there too. You got to show them how this is done. Okay. I'm a mental health therapist who works a lot with kids. I'm new to your page and really enjoy hearing your suggestions and technique. Oh, okay. I thought there was a question in there. Huge portion of my clients are teachers, principals, daycare workers, child psychologists. I couldn't do their job. They're institution-based. They're business-based. I teach parenting. That is all personal. It's completely different. Some stuff crosses over, but a whole bunch of it does not cross over. So yeah, they're very different roles. And there is no PhD in parenting because it is experience-based. I've finished raising my kids. I'm a grandmother now, and I've worked with hundreds of kids with all sorts of challenges. It's all experience-based because it's personal. I remember years ago, people I heard this many, many, many times because I didn't have training. I think they thought it was. I was never going to use what they told me. But to get clearance to go into certain areas and what I was volunteering, I had to sort of take some courses. And yeah, I never used any of it. But anyway, so what was my point with that? Shoot, I forgot. Lost track. It'll come to me. It's not coming to me. Oh, well. Oh, before I forget, I'm just going to keep saying this. I've got a big announcement coming tomorrow morning. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, make sure you're on there. If you're already on there, you'll get it. So a whole bunch of stuff's happening behind the scenes right now at Bratbusters. What was I thinking? That's going to drive me nuts. The problem is that I got so many things in my head every time I'm talking. I can't seem to focus very well. So because I'm so busy trying to answer your questions, I lose track. And then I'm reading another question while I'm trying to answer another one. I got to slow it down. Okay, 4-year-old only listens to my husband and not me. I'm trying to gain back leadership, but I'm really struggling. Where to start? Well, watch your husband and just copy him. If it's working with him, maybe you could do that too. So just watch him and copy him. It's the best way you learn is just by doing it. Don't study it too much, just do it. Yeah, just watch what he does and follow. And if it's working with him, then that's fine. Unless he's the authority. If he's the authority, my way or the highway, you do what I say. But if he's the friend and the kid that inspires the child to make good choices, that's what I teach. That's a leader. So if he's the authority, you might not want to follow that. Authorities parent based on fear. There's some respect there too. It's not a bad way to parent. But the kids rebel in the teen years, but then they come out the other end pretty darn good, and they respect what their parents did for them. The new style pleaser parent, that came in with participation awards. That's the stupidest thing you ever heard of. Talk about teaching entitlement. Anyway, so dumb. Anyway, that came out, and those kids will never respect their parents, and they'll be self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. I'm exaggerating, of course, but yeah, they'll never respect you right through the teen years and not afterwards either. They're going to treat you like a dish rag, because that's how you're acting. Please, your parents act like dish rags. What do you want? Do you want? I'm validating all your feelings and everything. I'm jumping through hoops to try and make everything easy for you. It's a total disaster. Drives me insane because I have to clean up that mess when I get clients. Okay. Started using the behavior. Just too bad I don't have opinions. Started using the behavior board, but struggling to find appropriate deprivation options for our 4-year-old. We don't provide screen access other than family TV once a week. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, never take that away anyway, because that's bonding family time. Anyway, they must have a favorite toy. Or maybe you normally, I don't want to use that one. Yeah, there's got to be something you can take away. There's got to be something that they like that you can take away. But you never take away anything comforting or soothing, like a favorite stuffy that they take to bed. Nothing that's comforting or loving or soothing, but a favorite toy that they like playing with, or an activity that they like doing, but not something organized with other kids. You don't take away social stuff. But if, let's say, they go out and play basketball, you might put their basketball away for the night if they do that every night, something like that. Even though it's healthy, if that's all you got to work with what you've got, right? Like I had a family, I don't know, recently anyway, and a lot of my clients don't use screens. So they say, what can we take away? Well, this one family had it was like a playground in the backyard. They had scooters and basketball hoops and everything you could think of on wheels and everything. But one of the kids particularly liked this one scooter or something, or I think it was, what's that thing where you bounce up and down? The pogo stick. I think they really liked that. They took that away for the night. That kid he was so upset about that, but that was a good one. A kid could still go out and have fun and be on the bike and the scooter, but just couldn't have the pogo stick. Is that what that thing's called? Do they still even have those? I think it was that. So yeah, there's usually something. If you can't come up with leverage and you're really desperate, you're gonna have to hire me. I've always been able to find something. Sometimes we have to invent leverage. There's different levels of doing that. And the top level I go to maybe twice a year with parents. I hate doing it. But if you haven't got any leverage, oh geez, this is full. Oh, that was awfully full. Okay. My 3-year-old daughter always cries and tells her daddy, I want mommy when I'm not around. Any tips on this? If I was the daddy, I would say, too bad, you're just stuck with me. Like she's just manipulating. Yeah, I want what I want, when I want, and how I want it. It's okay that you say no. Well, you're stuck with me. Oh, well. Like just sort of pass it off like that. If you get into a conversation and try and explain yourself to her, she's in charge. They pick up on that. Well, the mommy had to go out and don't talk like that to a child when they're acting like that. I want mommy. Oh, well, tough luck. I'm all you got. I remember I was babysitting a kid once and they said that. They said, I want my mom. Well, too bad. I'm all you got. You want to go play a game? Then, oh, okay. Oh, she's not going to be pulled into this scene. I don't do drama, right? That's what they were trying to do. It's like, how easy is it to get everything I want, when I want, and how I want it? Daycare, I don't teach that. A huge portion of my clients are daycare teachers, principals, child psychologists. but I don't teach any of that stuff. I don't have a clue how to do it. I can't tell you how to deal with someone else's child. I teach parenting, and that's all I teach. I get offered a whole bunch of stuff with schools to come in and set up systems and programs. I don't do that. I'd be absolutely useless at that because I've never taught. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a daycare. I've never run a daycare. I only teach home-based parenting, personal, like parenting at home. It's very different. Don't forget to sign up for my behavior board because you'll be on the newsletter, and I've got a big announcement with my company tomorrow. So a whole bunch of stuff's going on behind the scenes right now. But yeah, it's being announced tomorrow. Oh, and if you're already signed up, it's for you too. Like if you're already signed up to the behavior board, you'll get it. You'll get the announcement. You don't have to be new to get it. It's just whoever's on that newsletter will get that newsletter tomorrow morning. Okay, do you have any advice for interrupting each other? 4- and 5-year-old, they are like cat and dog and just get louder when I try to diffuse. So they're interrupting each other? That's actually quite unusual. I don't know what you mean. Are they interrupting you or each other? I don't know. Oh, you sign up above. Just everything that I have in my business is up above. By the way, quite frequently I get emails from people who've been scammed out of money by people using my picture, using my videos, using my name, saying they are me. I am Bratbusters.com. And if you go on the link above, that takes you to my stuff. Yeah, it's people who search it outside. I don't know how they're doing it. I think also maybe they do in comments on my, I don't know how they do it. I don't care. It's not like they're going to do it. I don't have anything to do with that. So yeah, I can't prevent that. That's not my lane. I'm not a detective. So yeah, watch out. Just be careful because a whole bunch of people have been scammed out of hundreds of dollars by people pretending to be me. And what can you do, eh? Crime. I can't stop crime. My 3-year-old has been having major sensory. Did I answer that last question? Oh, the 4- and 5-year-old interrupting each other. Yeah, I didn't answer that, did I? I just don't get that. Are they interrupting you or each other? You're going to have to answer that because that doesn't make, they don't usually interrupt each other. Yes, for my attention. Oh, for your attention. Okay, I'd say, if you don't use your manners, I'm not answering. Okay, so if you don't use your manners, I'm not answering. But pay attention too. If one of them has come up to you politely, you answer them. And to the other one, you say, if you interrupt again, there'll be a consequence. So put it on the behavior board, say no interrupting. And if they interrupt, there's a consequence. Or you can just in the moment, like I just said. I'm very used to behavior board. I would say if you interrupt again like that, there'll be a consequence just because they're little and you're training them not to do that. Or you can just start and put it on the behavior board. Okay. Okay, you are a teacher. You're teaching about, yeah. Teaching parenting is what I do. I don't teach teaching. Yeah. I've been asked to do a lot of stuff at schools. I used to do public speaking, and I talked to a lot of schools. But I'd talk to them like I'd talk to the kids about sex education or bullying or something. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. It really doesn't pay a lot, and it's not worth my time, to be honest. And I'd rather be on here for free for an hour and a half than traveling out somewhere making money that it's just so much work going out somewhere in public speaking. Yeah. I'd have to charge more than I'd be comfortable charging to make it worth my while. It's a lot of work setting up a presentation. I also homeschool all 6, so this makes it really rough. Makes what really rough? What was the, because I don't notice the names when I'm answering questions. It was Shannon. I have 6 kids, but 4 are boys age 4 to 11. They constantly work together to overtake me. Any tips? Well, I don't know what you mean by overtake me. I would look up the boot camp course if I were you. That's all about your leadership skills. When you're a leader, it tends to calm them down and they tend to be respectful, not just towards you, but towards other people. It's just the way it works because you're teaching them how to make good choices and respect and manners. That's what leaders do. So leadership's all about guiding them into making good choices. That's it. You're not telling them what to do. You're guiding them into making good choices. You're inspiring them. You're like a mentor, someone that they look up to. Okay, I got to get going. I'm moving over to Instagram now. It's Bratbusters Parenting over there. Check out the link above. The behavior board will put you on the newsletter. I've got a big announcement coming out tomorrow in Bratbusters, which may interest you. It may not. If not, doesn't matter. So anyway, check that out. And yeah, check out the link above just for the free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. If I'm not answering your coaching emails, it's because I don't have time to take anyone on. My schedule is really packed, but you're in a queue. So if you have requested coaching, I'll get to you in a queue. Like, is that an Australian term? In a lineup or in a queue? I know in Australia they call it a queue. That's where I was there for 20 years. So I get mixed up. What's Australian? What's North American? Anyway, you're in a line. Anyway, I've got it all in fairness lined up. No, it doesn't make any sense, does it? Never mind, I'm talking to myself. Anyway, I'm heading off to Instagram now. I'm on YouTube the whole time. Happy parenting. Bye now. There we go. Okay, this is on YouTube. I'm a brand new, oh, someone retracted a message. I always wonder, what did they put on there that they had to retract? Jess, I'm a brand new follower. I just received my behavior board. What do you recommend for 4-year-old boy, possibly idiot hyperactivity that seems 7+ rules? I don't know where to start. Well, I don't know where you want to start. You can just put your boots in the cubby when you get home within 5 minutes of getting home. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. If you're doing this all by yourself without me, without the boot camp course or without coaching, keep it simple, something tiny. It could be just make your bed every morning, put your dirty dishes in the sink, within 5 minutes of being finished your meal. You always have to time everything so they can't run and do it at midnight kind of thing. So yeah, keep it simple. Simple. Don't overthink it. Okay, welcome to my live. This is on Instagram now. I just came over from Facebook, and I will be going over to TikTok after this. And as I was just announcing on Facebook, I've got a big announcement coming out tomorrow in my newsletter. If you're not already signed up, you just have to go and sign up for the behavior board, and then you'll get on the newsletter. So I got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes right now at Bratbusters. Okay, 22-month-old continues to throw his food. Any suggestions? Yeah, this is what I would do. If a kid, I don't give them a lot to start with, so they can't throw a lot. So if I know they're throwers, I'll just give them a little bit. As soon as they throw it, I pick it up, throw it in the garbage or sink, and I say no, and then I hand feed them. Are they going to eat anything after that? No, they'll probably go like that and get all mad. That's okay. Okay, you're all done. Wipe them up and put them down. Half hour later, give it another go. Sit them up again, say, oh, you're still hungry. Okay, let's try this, and give them a little bit of food. They throw it on the floor, throw it away, and then you hand feed them. When they get hungry enough, they'll eat. You just and when you hand feed them for the rest of that meal. So they'll learn that, hey, you can't push me around. You got to learn manners or else you're going to get hand fed. They're 22 months old. They can figure that one out. And they're just going to pretend not to get it because they're mad that you're, all of a sudden you're a leader. They don't like that because they've been in charge. If they're throwing food around, they're in charge. Or they think they are. 5-year-old copies rude words from kids at school. Just put down no rude words. Just because the rude words are being said at school doesn't give them the right to say it. They're 5 years old. They can understand right from wrong. So put no bad words. Just put that on the behavior board, and then there's a consequence when they do it. If they say bad words all day long, so more than 2 times, then you go right to the negative deprivation consequence. That's the big one. Something like 24-hour media blackout. Hey, look, you did that. You said a bad word 3 times today. So media blackout starts now for 24 hours. No, I didn't mean it. It was your choice. And stick to it. Once you've said it, stick to it. Not fair, not fair. Whatever. Do not get pulled into explaining yourself. It's this over-explaining. It makes you look like a dish rag. And the more you over-explain, the weaker you get and the stronger they get. So yeah, if a kid's not fair, whatever. That's how I would react. There's no way I would explain myself. You've already explained that behavior board. That kid is 5 years old. They understand it. They're playing dumb now. I'd say, well, you'll understand eventually, or you'll know next time. There's no way I would explain myself. No way. Makes you look weak. Makes you look like you're questioning yourself. What if a 6-year-old breaks rule and gets media blackout at 7:30 p.m.? Well, then they don't get media till 7:30 p.m. the next night. And then if they don't get any media that next night, that's because it's bedtime. That's on them. It's 24 hours starting at 7:30 p.m. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of control here because I end up answering questions about discipline all the time. And I've decided that's not what I'm all about. Coaching is completely different. I'm in total control of coaching. I run the show when I'm coaching because I'm not there to answer your questions. I'm there to guide you through what to do. Okay, there's questions do come up, obviously, but What happens is parents realize the questions are answered as we go along. So I'm there to teach you how to be a leader, not to listen to how you're not leading. Does that make sense? Okay. But on here, I'm just answering questions all the time. But I just want to emphasize that's not what I'm all about. Discipline is a tiny, tiny, tiny part of parenting. Tiny. The rest of it is bonding with them, connecting with them, showing them that you're accountable, that you respect them enough to be accountable. When you build that connection with a kid, the discipline isn't even necessary anymore. So that's why I know I'm just answering discipline, but really, you're a leader. You don't even have to discipline. They respect you. They don't act out. That's the bottom line. At the age of 3, they can start to pick up on this. Under 3, they're just toddlers. They're crazy anyway. But yeah, between 3 and 12, you're at the height of your leadership. Their behavior is a direct result of your parenting. If you're a leader, they got great behavior. If you're not, not so much. Okay, it's all you. It's all you. So yeah, check out the boot camp course. That's the best thing I've got going right now. Coaching is of course, going to be the best, but it costs more money, and I don't have time to take everyone on anymore. So the boot camp course, I really like it. It's 5 weeks, all about you and your leadership skills. Set yourself up as a leader, and they will follow. Children need, crave, and want a leader. It's a natural instinct for a child. If you're not a leader at home, they're going to be very vulnerable out there in the world. They're going to go searching a leader for anywhere else. They're going to be very vulnerable to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians. They're going to go searching out a leader anywhere else. They're going to be very vulnerable, very susceptible. But if you're a leader at home, they come to you and they tell you everything. You're their guiding light. 8-year-old cries dramatically over spilled milk. Any advice? Well, I don't know what your relationship's like. I'm suggesting you're not a leader, because a leader calms their children down. So yeah, I don't have any advice because I need to know your relationship before I can answer that. I'm guessing you're a pleaser parent. Am I right? Yeah. Thanks for being so present and constant. Yeah, I'm on here every single day. Pretty much. Sometimes I'll miss a day, usually on a Friday or a Saturday for some reason. Anyway, so yeah, I'm usually here. This is all my free stuff because I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to help you. So I give a lot of free content, and this is free. This is the only place I answer parenting questions is here, is during the lives. The rest, I don't have time anywhere else. I'll just send you to a live if you ask a parenting question somewhere else because I just don't have time for that. But yeah, and that's why I do this, is just because then I can say, if I get tons and tons of questions. Some people send me pages of, now I've got 10 questions. Number 1, number 2. Really? Like you're kidding me. Anyway, okay. Thanks for the questions. Turn up to a live and ask there. So yeah, that's why I'm on here, because I got lots of free. And then the behavior board is completely free. So I know I can help. I know I can help anyone who wants help because I've got lots of free content. If you want to hire me, that's different. But yeah, I've got lots of free stuff. Okay, you're not going to like my answer. If 11-year-old refuses to give the iPad over when there's a consequence and will kick and push and force, you got to hire me for that. That's next level. That's red zone. If they will not hand over an iPad and they start getting violent with you, I can't help you with anything but coaching. We'd have to get to work on that. So you can check that out. I don't always have time to take people on, but you can send me an email. At coaching, you have to send me an email. I don't get to all the messages, and certainly I don't see all the comments on here. The only way for sure for me to put eyes on what you've sent me is email. Doesn't mean I don't answer general questions on there, but if you want to know about coaching or services like a course or something, that's different. I love coming on here reading parents' concerns because it helps me feel like this is normal behavior for a toddler. I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Okay. It's not so much that you're ever going to control a toddler, but you can control their environment and you can learn to control yourself. That you just got to manage them, okay? Because they can be crazy. Now, number 1 is, this is my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2 is you set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. They just look at you differently. So you don't say, let's go to the nail salon to connect. You say, hey, you're rolling down the hill, I'll go with you. They look at you different when you enter their world. They just feel like you're connected to them differently. This is part of leadership. Number 4 is stop with the mini therapy sessions, discussing all their big feelings. And if you're saying something like this, use your words. It's a disaster. They're about actions, not words. That's a very patronizing thing to say. I don't know who invented that, but if I ever hear that out in public, it just makes me go crazy. Use your words. Could you imagine if you're arguing with someone and they say, use your words? It's so patronizing. Besides, they are using their words. Their world is getting wild, is crime, and is actions. They need consistent corrective actions because they learn through repetition. They do not need these mini therapy sessions. Okay, they're not going to find their inner adult because they don't have one. You find your inner toddler and deal with them in their world. That's respect, not expecting them to meet you. You meet them where they are. Don't expect them to meet you where you are. That's ludicrous. Number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in here. Okay, I always say they're crazy. It's more that they just haven't developed sanity yet. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years and that first year you were a potato laying on a mattress. Like, really, what do you expect from them? Parents usually expect way too much from toddlers. I expect very little, and they always surprise me that they're so wonderful because I don't expect much. They're just tiny, fresh little human beings. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. Figure that one out. What's your email address? Everything's in the link above, but it's lisa@bratbusters.com. A whole bunch of people out there scamming. They're using my videos. They're using my name. They're using my face. They're saying they're me. They are not me. If you go to the link above, that's me. But yeah, people are getting scammed out of hundreds of dollars, probably more. It's just sad, but nothing I can do. I can't fight crime here. Okay, actually, what time is it? Okay, I got to get going. I got to move over to TikTok now, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. So I do YouTube. I sit on YouTube for the whole time, and then I go from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok as I'm doing YouTube at the same time. And all of my lives are saved on YouTube. So check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board. Check that out, because if you're not already signed up, you might want to be right now, because I've got a big announcement coming out tomorrow. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes with Bratbusters. So there's a big announcement coming out tomorrow morning. So you might want to sign up for that behavior board now. If you have, it's free, so it's no big deal. If you've already signed up, don't worry about it. You'll get the announcement. It's just part of the newsletter. And then, oh yeah, you can check out my toddler courses, or you can look at my big boot camp course that goes from 3 to 12 years old. It's 5 weeks, and it's all about you and your leadership. Remember, we're not fixing kids here. We're teaching parents. You lead, they will follow. And if you're interested in coaching, that's Zoom one-on-one with me. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. I got clients all over the world. And how fascinating for me, because I get to learn a lot about different cultures, because they're really raw and honest when we're talking. So it's really, I just love it. I love having to work around different cultures and religions, because I teach North American parenting, but I'm getting pretty good at adjusting that to wherever I'm talking to, which I just absolutely love. But anyway, that's beside the point. I can't take everyone on these days with coaching because my schedule is really packed these days. So, but you are in a queue, and I'll get to you. If you put coaching in the subject line, I'll get to you in order. And also, if you're in crisis, that's life and death stuff. It's not my toddler's having tantrums all the time. That's not crisis. I mean, life and death, really horrible stuff. If you're, I kind of specialize in that, especially with teenagers. You put crisis, coaching crisis, or crisis coaching in the subject line. I always take those clients on. You're my first priority if you're in crisis, because it's my specialty. Not many people do that. So I'll probably always, even if I'm not coaching anymore, I'll probably always do that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'm hopping over to TikTok now. Here we go. Okay, I just need to take a break sometimes between hopping around. My voice starts to go. I'm not very good at saving my voice. I tend to project. I used to do a lot of public speak. I used to teach a lot of fitness classes and public speaking. And even with a microphone, I don't know, I just use my voice too much. So I keep messing my voice box up. I got to get better at that. Okay, welcome to my live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, and I'm just going to yabber on until people start asking questions. I'm here pretty much every single day. This is all free. This is where I answer all the general parenting questions. I don't answer them anywhere else. This is why I'm here, because I don't have time to answer them anywhere else. So, okay, here we go. My 3-year-old will not settle down at night after taking pacifier away. Any tips? You're just gonna have to wait that out. Like, that's just a transition time. And don't give it back. Don't give up and then give it back and then take it away. You might want to check out my bedtime battles course. That's one of my mini courses. It's up above, and it's how to keep them in bed. But when you take something away, you would want to replace it with something else. So give them something else that they really like that they can hold on to. Yeah, a lot of parents just take something away. But like even when I took the my son was 18 months old when I took him up, when I weaned him off the pacifier, and I got him a bunch of sippy cups. So he had something else. So it was like, here, I'm taking these, but here you go. Yeah. Buh, 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 buh. And by the way, that bedtime battles course, that's a nasty, nasty night. It's usually a night of hell, but it's worth it. Short-term pain for long-term gain, right? You got to go through the storm to get to the rainbow. Everyone wants the rainbow, but you got to go through the storm. Every time a kid has a fit, scene, tantrum, or meltdown around me, I'm like, yippee. That's my opportunity to exercise my leadership, because behind every fit, scene, meltdown, or tantrum is a lesson, so long as I deal with it correctly, which is ignoring it. But there's a way of ignoring it. You've probably seen me talk about that a million times. Okay, anyway, if you're new here, my name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you can sign up for my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. It's all about you, 3 to 12 years old. It's all about your leadership. Or you can look into coaching. If I'm not answering your emails, it's because I can't take on any new clients, but you're in a queue and I'll get to you when I can. So anyway, I think today, I think today I'm going to be taking on a couple of clients. We'll see. Okay. Oh, I got all itchy. I'm still in my gym wear. I work out every morning and I'm still in my gym wear. Isn't that terrible? It's like 4:30 at night. I've just been running around. Okay. Nah, My 3-year-old girl doesn't want to give up nappies. Any tips? You must be Aussie or English. I raised my kids with nappies in Australia. Anyway, that's for someone who doesn't know, it's a nappy is a diaper. I'm assuming you spelled it nappies, so I'm assuming you mean nappies, or is a nappy something else? Is a nappy a soother, or what's a nappy? What are you referring to? I don't know. Is it a potty training question, or is it something? Does it mean something else? Because I'm not sure what a nappy is. I watch your videos in the Netherlands. Thank you. You're very welcome. I get clients all over the world. And, I'm so stupid I am. When someone has a really strong accent and I have a hard time understanding them, and all my clients are on Zoom, and I yell. I don't know why, but I think that they can't understand me, so I talk louder. Several of them have had to say, we can hear you. And plus, we understand you. We just, maybe you can't understand us. But yeah, so many of them have said, why are you yelling at us? It's like that time about 15 years ago, I got a new client. And I said, hi, Jesus, it's nice to meet you. And he goes, well, thanks for the compliment, but it's pronounced Jesus. Jesus. It was spelled Jesus. Yeah, I don't have a filtering system, so I make a fool out of myself on a regular basis. Okay. Do you think leadership will change as your children become teens and young adults? Absolutely. I hope so. You don't want to be their leader throughout their life. You want them to be their own leaders. So when they hit the teen years, you want to start passing that scepter over to them. You're just there for the big stuff. You're there for them to run everything by, because they'll tell you everything. If you've been a good leader, by the time they're teens, they're going to run everything by you to check it out. And you just go, yeah, what do you think? I never told my kids what to do. I'm like, yeah, what do you think? We discuss it, because I was a safe place to land. They told me everything. Someone said, oh, that's ridiculous. No one ever tells their parents everything. Well, okay, my kids are 34 and 29. So yeah, they did. And I told my mom everything. So yeah, it's genetic, I guess. Yeah, I told my mom everything. She didn't want to hear it, but I did. Nothing ever happened. I always said nothing's happened until I've told my mother. Like I literally felt no matter what happened in my life, and I lived in Australia for 20 years, and we wrote every single day before emails were invented, and then we emailed like usually a couple times a day, and we told each other it was like a daily journal. We told each other everything. So yeah, and I've got that with my daughter now. So very lucky. My mom passed away about 8 years ago. She was 93, so she had a good run. Okay. Yeah, I told my mom everything. Same here. My friends used to say, God, you're so lucky. You tell your mom everything. And she's so nice about it. My mom was just so nice. But I never did anything horrible, so it's not like she had to do anything anyway. Some light advice for parenting ADHD. Every ADHD. That's what I teach here. It doesn't make any difference if they're ADHD. That's the kids I usually work with. I used to call them alphabet kids because they all had acronyms after their name. ADHD, WXYZ. I never opened up one file. I was handed a lot of files to read over to understand the child. I never opened one. And I always told them that. They said, I guess you read my, teenagers especially, I guess you read my file. No, I wouldn't do that. I just want to get to know you. So, and then they thought it was a ploy. They're very suspicious. Yeah, right. Okay. Then they learned, yeah, it's not a ploy. Sorry about your mom. I lost mine 4 years ago. She was 61. That's too young. I lost my dad when he was 53. So I was only 14. But yeah, you know what? When your parents die and you become an orphan, you become a different person, because my parents were the only people I ever whined with. You don't tend to whine with anyone else. Like, if I felt sorry for myself, that's who I would whine to. So it was you don't do that with anyone else. Like, it's really weird. I've completely lost my whine personality. It's funny. You seem very real and honest. Yeah, I don't know how not to be. So what you see is what you get with me, good or bad, by the way. I've never, ever wanted everyone to like me, because I think that's ridiculous. I've never gone for popularity. I just try and I think I'm a good person. I try and be myself, and I try and encourage my kids to be the same and other people to be the same. There's no one's better than you. I remember I was young and people used to ask me this all the time. You walk into a room like you own it. And I was like that when I was little, like I was young. You know why? Every time I walk into a room full of strangers, if I'm on my own, I always walk in like I own it. Do you know why? Because I'm anxious to see if I like anyone there. It would never even cross my mind to think, I hope they like me. I've never thought that way, ever. Why do I care? Am I going to change if they don't? I don't like everyone. Why would you expect everyone to like you? Don't go for popularity. Go for just being yourself, as long as you're a good person. If I had something to hide, I might be different, but I've got nothing to hide, really. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I've never, ever worried about what people think about me. That's not true. If I trip and fall out in public, then I'm humiliated. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to change who I am. And I encourage everyone to be the same way. Just be yourself. Be honest, be open. And it's the vulnerabilities and your flaws that make you likable, as long as you're a nice person, right? And my mom used to say, no one wants to be impressed. They just want to have fun. You know, I don't have anyone in my life who tries to impress people with money or show or labels or anything. Boring. I like people who are just fun, self-deprecating humor. They have funny stories. Just be yourself, be real, be vulnerable, and teach your kids to do that too, because you're okay just the way you are. Not everyone's going to like you, because you don't like everyone else either. So yeah, anyway. What types of meals did you feed your kids? Well, all I fed them was healthy stuff. I made everything from scratch, basically. So especially when they were little, especially. And but yeah, I don't teach that because I'm not a nutritionist. God, I hate cooking. I cook with hate. I just hate it. But I did it for so many years, and with kids, yeah, everything was from scratch. I remember the first time my son had pizza when he was out. He came home and he says, it was really weird. The sauce was red, because my pizza had pureed spinach put into it, because I made all my own sauce and dough and everything. So I'd put seeds and stuff in the dough, and like hemp seeds or whatever. I'd hide those inside the dough, and then I would puree spinach and put that inside the sauce. So my poor kids, they didn't know what they were eating. Okay. But that's not, I'm radical. I'm more radical now because I'm older. I'm not raising kids anymore. I'm super radical with my food and my health and nutrition and all that. But with kids, I just thought they knew if they didn't eat their healthy food, we had no ice cream sitting in the freezer. So they knew that was all, they didn't have a choice. You either eat healthy or you starve to death. Like, there was no option. But then they did have treats. Their dad, we used to call their dad the treat master. So, and I'd say, now make sure, Daddy, you don't give them any junk food when you're out. And we had this unspoken rules sort of thing. Of course, he'd go out and get them something like a donut or something. They couldn't wait to get home and tell on Daddy, Daddy got us a donut. They wanted to see Dad get in trouble. So I go, Daddy, did you get them a donut? It was fun, right? So that they got their treats. Dad was the treat master. I was the health food one. It was funny. You don't both have to be the leader, by the way. There usually is one clear leader in the family. And the pleaser, it's usually, there's never a leader and an authority in a family. There's a leader, they're like the mentor, you're the one that they tell everything to the leader, right? You're the one they run everything past. They love you both the same, but the pleaser is the one that sort of, cheats the rules a little bit, maybe gives into their, their treats more and stuff like that. It's kind of nice, but so long as they're on the same page. So long as the pleaser would never undermine the leader and say, well, I think that's unfair. You never argue or anything. Then, you want to be on the same page, but you don't have to both be the same. Like my mom was the leader, my dad was the pleaser. And my dad, whatever I said to my dad, Daddy, can I please have something? And he's, sure, sweetie pie, you can have anything you want. And I'd be like that, right? And then he'd say, let's just check with mom first. And I go, oh, never mind. Because I knew mom would say, are you kidding me? Why would you? So I'd be all embarrassed. My mom was the leader. So you offer one-on-one help. I do one-on-one coaching. It's all done on Zoom. My schedule's really packed these days. I can't always take new clients on. So it just depends day to day if I can take. But you have to email me about that. And make sure you want to sign up for coaching. You can get enough information by watching me here. Coaching's quite different, though, because it's personal. Yeah. What was I going to say about that? Anyway, check it out. It's all in the link above. Check out coaching. If you're really interested, you can send me an email. Tell me you want to sign up. Or if you have some real specific question, sometimes I'll say, all you need is the boot camp course. Or I'll say if it's an eating disorder or something, I'll say, well, I don't deal with that. That's a medical issue, right? Drug addiction, eating disorders, they're two things. I get a lot of clients who have teenagers with those issues, but I don't address those specific issues. That's a doctor. They have usually help also elsewhere to deal with their medical issues. But I still take those clients on, but I can't cure those problems. They're too big. They're out of my wheelhouse for sure. Okay. What if one parent is on the board starting a behavior board? Okay, so oftentimes when I'm hired, it's usually the mom that hires me, that wants to hire me, because dads are fixers. If they can't fix their family, it kind of hits them in the nuts when you have to hire someone. It's just a manly, head of the family kind of thing. I get it. I've been doing this for 17 years. And I always say to the dad, I get it. You're a fixer. You didn't want to hire me. I get that. I get this all the time, right? Here's what often happens, though. They'll hire me, and I'll see the two of them. And here will be the mom. And then there'll be the dad like this in the background. I'm like, gee, I wonder if he wanted to hire me. Anyway, you know what often happens is I'll say to the dad, look, if you don't want to be on the behavior board, you don't have to be. That's your choice. I said, but if you're not going to follow it and go along with it, we have to scrub you off it. You can't be on there and not do it. Like, you have to be participating. So anyway, what'll happen is sometimes they don't want to be on there. So I say, okay, that's fine. Then, you can even go do something else. There's no point in you listening in if you don't want to. So then, you know what's happened quite a few times? The father, or sometimes it's the mom, they'll hire me behind the other one's back because they start to see the relationship and they're too proud to admit that they want some of that. They want that relationship with the kids. So they'll hire me behind the scenes to teach them this stuff. And then I always say, can we please tell them, like, let's laugh it off, right? So anyway, so it's funny. But yeah, sometimes they're the other. And if I'm dealing with people who are in like Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, where they have different cultures and the man's the head of the household, he will not be on that behavior board. So I have to respect that and work with that because I teach North American parenting, but I also have to adjust my teaching according to your religion, your culture. Sometimes there are multi-generational families living in one house, and the older generations have a lot of say in how things go. So I have to respect that. And that was hard for me when I first started doing that. That was a long time ago. But now I've learned how to adjust that because it's not one way is the only way. I have to respect different religions, cultures, etc. What was one family? They had something I'd never heard of. I can't remember what it was. It was fascinating. I learned so much about different cultures doing this. If I think of it, I'll bring it up. It was funny. Anyways, well, not funny, but something I've never heard of. Anyway, check out the behavior board, by the way, because I've got a big announcement coming in tomorrow's newsletter. And if you sign up for the behavior board, you're on the newsletter. So I've got a big announcement coming out. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with Bratbusters. So if you're already on that newsletter, you'll get it anyway. But if not, now's a good time to check into that. Okay, do you offer coaching to parents, a child with ASD? That's autism spectrum disorder. Yes, I do, but it's only in coaching. So yeah, I don't generalize with that because I got to see what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past. Where are you now? What kind of parents are you? What programs are your kids in? What do you want from me? And yeah, so it's a whole, I have to assess it. And it's complicated. Well, for me, but I try and make it very straightforward for the parents, but a lot goes on in here when I'm thinking things through. Sometimes a few parents have commented, they say, are you still there? Did you freeze? And it's because if something comes up and I want to give it some thought, I literally go like this and I just freeze. Now I have to remember to go like this so that they realize I haven't frozen on Zoom. So sometimes I do have to stop and think because sometimes something different will come up and I'll think, no, I want to do something different with that because it's so, and often with autism, that's what happens. Because they're all different. Is compromising acceptable? You got to give me a specific example. Yeah, but depends. It's very, yeah, it depends. Blah, 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 blah. I think you were on here the other day. Lisa, what's the best way to deal with tantrums if a child has a heart condition? I think you asked me that before, because you can't very well just ignore a child with heart condition who, if they get upset, they could have a heart attack or something, could compromise their health, right? So, and then I said you can't just ignore them if getting upset, but I said use distraction. Do something common like calming, like reading a book or something, and then inviting them in and hoping that they'll join in. But yeah, I don't know. I can't give you any perfect answer to that because I don't think there is one. So, okay, I'm going to get going now. I've been on here long enough. I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do. And while I've been talking, a whole bunch of emails have come flying in. I don't answer parenting questions via anywhere else but here, by the way. This is why I do this, because I don't have time to answer general parenting questions anywhere else. I get thousands of them. I just can't do it. And the best place, if you really have to get a hold of me, you can send me an email. I don't see all my social media messages, and I certainly don't have time to get to the comments. I'm doing my best. I'm going to try and get a system going where I do answer comments, but I will never answer general parenting questions, even in comments, because this is where I answer them. And I have to stick to that because it's not fair to people who, you know what I mean? If I sometimes do and I sometimes don't, I have to manage my schedule because I am really busy these days. Anyway, tomorrow we got a big announcement to make. Something big's coming up in Bratbusters, and we're announcing it tomorrow. And if you're already on the newsletter, you'll see it. If not, sign up for the behavior board. That's completely free, and you'll get the announcement tomorrow morning. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I got to go, and happy parenting. Bye now.